After last year's trip to the final, Pittsburgh is hungry for another deep run. Colorado has been overlooked all season, but close wins over Washington and Georgia have them in position to shock the division. Powerhouse programs meet in quarterfinals, coming up next.
Fans to UltiWorld's live streaming coverage of the Division I College Championships, coming to you from Round Rock, Texas, and we have a men's quarterfinal ahead of us. Pittsburgh, Colorado, two of the blue blood programs in the division. Keith Rayner joined by Patrick Stegemeller to help bring you this game. Pat, these such renowned programs, although their paths here and their seasons really have been quite different.
That's right. Pittsburgh took care of business in their pool, the 3 seed, locking up a bye to the quarterfinals. Colorado, a little bit of a stickier road, dropping a game, having to go through pre-quarters. But Colorado has generally been on fire for the second half of the season, and now they've rolled that into nationals. A nice win over a tough Georgia team yesterday, giving them the confidence they're going to need to take on this Pitt team that has been undefeated so far this weekend.
Yeah, Pitt winning the pool with strong play. They had like one little hiccup in a game that they chose the right one if they were going to have one off game. Losing to Victoria in pool play. But we have Colorado in the blacks pulling to Pittsburgh in the white with a berth in the semifinals on the line. We are underway. Leo Warren picking up for Pittsburgh and centering Andrew Lemberg. Horizontal stack and Ing putting up a deep shot for Matt Hanna. That's their most popular deep target, but Ing overthrows him. So a early break chance for Colorado.
And you're going to see discs soar in that direction. That is the downwind end zone. The wind certainly not as impactful so far this morning as it has been the past few days. Maybe about 10, 12 miles an hour, perhaps some gusts going more. But we should be able to see some cleaner ultimate than we got during pool play and pre-quarters.
Calmest wind I felt for sure, Pat, but probably not calm on the field. Some nerves there potentially having an impact on that catch. Matthew Lockridge not able to hold on to it, so red zone opportunity. Warren around break, sneaks past the defender, and Robinson there to come up with it.
Either an incredibly omniscient throw there, or perhaps a little bit lucky.
I'm pretty confident that Warren was trying to hit Ing with that one. Did that seem like shoulder out of bounds was the first thing to land? I'm not sure.
Let's get another look at it here. No, I think he had that foot down. Long legs for the big cat. Able to get the toe in.
And you can see that the block just missed. Pretty close between the shoulder and the knee shin there. I think the foot does come up, but very close one. But really no one on Colorado was trying to say it was out, so our opinion matters very little up here in the booth.
And that was good heads-up defense from Colorado. They knew what part of the end zone the break side swing was going to be targeting. They had the man flash out into the lane, just not quite able to come up with the block. And luckily for Pittsburgh, or I guess I should say credit to Pittsburgh, Robinson was there, alert, and ready to snag the errant swing.
Ing remaining on. I think every Pitt game I've watched this year that they've started in this Nationals that they've started on offense, Ing has played those first 2 points, crossing over to the D-line as well. He's matched up with Quinn Feiner. It's Alex Atkins in the backfield. Leads his Colorado team in assists at Nationals.
And Atkins had a great game against Georgia in pre-quarters. But there's Feiner taking a deep shot.
To the handler, Brunker, streaking out of the deep space and knocked away. Feiner just lofting that up with a bit too much air underneath it.
And you saw more Pitt players under that hanging disc than Mama Bird players. Mama Bird has had success this weekend by being the swarming team, by being the team that just has extra players at the scene. But if Pitt's able to win that numbers advantage. Oh, and what a layout block to get the disc back. Tatum taking control of the point, and now Mama Bird is on the doorstep.
What a block by Tatum, who's one of the centerpieces of this team. And then Atkins with a quick flip over the mark, using that length to his advantage. Colorado holds, and now it's 1-1.
Particularly going downwind, Atkins has a full arsenal at his disposal. High releases, scoobers, basically anything you can think of.
And Atkins, as we take another look at that high release.
And I think that Warren needs to have higher hands on the mark there, particularly going downwind and particularly against Atkins. But both teams now have had a chance to break.
Atkins, a 6'3" sophomore out of Philadelphia, maybe more in the recruiting zone you would expect to see at Pitt. There's probably an alternate universe where he's on the opposite side of this matchup.
Pitt certainly known for pulling from the Philadelphia youth scene. Michael Ing, of course, probably the standout example on this team.
And we see Andrew Lemberg, a New Jersey product, so also in that Pitt recruiting zone, and he's one of our spin players to watch.
Lemberg has had a tortured injury history the past few years, but it's really good to see him back in action and putting some numbers on the board for Pittsburgh at Nationals.
Really, I think the emotional leader of this offensive line, and as our spin player to watch. This live broadcast of the Division I College Championships is brought to you by Spin Ultimate, providing custom team uniforms and ultimate apparel since 2007. You can visit them on the web at spinultimate.com. Pittsburgh, another deep turnover with an overthrow, so haven't quite dialed it in yet.
All three turnovers this game have been away shots going in that direction. See which team can adjust their throws quicker.
So initiating on their own goal line with a break chances, Colorado. Just working the disc horizontally out of that vertical stack now. Finally get some yardage up to Lockridge.
And credit to the Colorado handlers there who were able to suss out the switches in the back of the vert stack and realize that Lockridge was going to be the open man.
And now able to get some room to put up a deep shot. Well placed. And Colorado draws first blood. Saeed Semrin with the break.
Just good fundamental vert stack offense from Colorado's D-line there. Vert stack has really been the signature of this Mama Bird team for years. It's what they rode to a championship in 2014, and they're not abandoning it now. It pays off there because you move the disc to the break side, and then you get that shallow lane to put hucks into space. It's so hard to defend that huck. You see, Ing is there. Ing is on the force side, but when you are able to attack that lane from the shallow break space and put the right edge on the huck, as we see here, almost an impossible play for a defender to make.
Chesler, the left-handed thrower, I think able to potentially put a little bit of a different kind of snap on that than what the defender typically is going to expect out of a forehand thrower who's throwing against the wind.
Yeah, and a few lefties on this Colorado team, something that Pitt is going to have to prepare for.
We see this Pitt offense looking to respond. And the offense here has changed a little bit. And speaking of offense, we've got Jimmy Mickle, Colorado Mama Bird alum, rooting on his guys, and next to him, a defensive star in his own right, Trent Dillon, out of Pittsburgh. So, well, I imagine those guys have something at stake involved in this one. Warren taking the centering pass from Shams and then finds Hoffenkamp. Sophomore gets the reset off to Goldstein. Now Max Thompson looking deep for Ing. Ing in chase. And so far, Pitt going to the well, but again, the bucket comes up empty.
And you see the difference between that throw and the throw from Chesler last point. It's about edge control. It's about using edge to create float so that your player has the right line to run onto the disc. Not the case there from that turn headed for Ing.
High throw, saved out of the air by Michael Frugi. And Frugi, under duress, gets off a backhand past Ing, and Ing waves his hands, I think to indicate no call. So the disc will go to Lockridge. Goldstein preparing to set the mark for Pittsburgh, trying to keep them from giving up a third straight goal. Nice reset defense and the tumbling catch by Sean Chappell. And I guess thinking, you know, I can't stay up, might as well call a timeout, get my feet back under me.
Yeah, a circus catch there for Mama Bird to take us into this timeout.
This timeout is presented by Disc Store. Disc Store is proud to support Ultiworld and has a special $30 custom full sub offer for live viewers only. Get custom team full subs for just $30 each using the promo code Ultiworld. Email jerseys at discstore.com to receive that exclusive offer, which expires May 31st. So 2-1. Colorado seizing the lead with an early break and chance to add to that.
Yeah, a big spot here for Colorado. Shot to go up 3-1 early in this game before the teams have really settled in. Certainly Pittsburgh not looking locked in thus far, both on offense and on their defensive approach. You know, that swing that Colorado was able to come down with, I think partially it was because Pitt's handler's defense was not on the same page about who they were funneling up line, who they were funneling into the backfield.
Colorado scrapping past a surging Georgia team yesterday in pre-quarters to make it to this matchup. After finishing second in Pool D, Feiner looking cross-field. Thompson trying to get back his Huck turnover, and he is unable to do it. Lockridge locks up another break for Colorado, and they lead 3-1.
Lockridge is so good at finding these seemingly innocuous little spaces that he knows his throwers can hit. He's a little bit of a quiet player on the field, but you see he'll put stats up on the board because he's so good at getting his defender to turn off and get into spaces for throws like that from Feiner. Obviously a great throw from Feiner, but the reason Lockridge is so open is partially, as we see this circus catch here to take us into time, the reason Lockridge is so open is because he knows where Pitt is taking away.
Quinn Feiner delivering a confident strike to Lockridge right in that seam. And Feiner looking comfortable in the wind, and I think that's really been one of the strengths of this Colorado team as we see the gathering fan base here just outside of Austin, Texas. You know, Pat, the last team eliminated on this very field was the Colorado women's team. But right now, Colorado men's team looking to end someone else's season. Taking the early 3-1 lead. Looking to advance to the semifinals out of this quarters matchup. Whoever wins this one will advance to face the victor between Brown and Ohio State.
Colorado Collie, the women's team, eliminated Pittsburgh last year at Nationals as well.
The connections are all clear as that connection is anything but intercepted by Colorado. I don't know, maybe Pitt didn't get the memo. No free passes here. Colorado starting again from their own goal line. That is the benefit of being so aggressive deep. Atkins opting for a little more passive approach for maybe 5 seconds before launching a towering backhand and a second effort catch. Colorado into the end zone. Pitt is stunned as they fall behind 4-1.
Mama Bird is swarming in celebration now, but then also on the field. You see they had bodies deep. The disc went up and they took off, and that's how you get those backside, essentially rebounds.
I think we're going to see a timeout here. If I'm a coach and I see that backside catch with two defenders who gave up on the play, I'm calling a timeout and I'm lighting up the team because I think Kazmarek is going to be really frustrated. His team has turned the disc over the same way, basically 5 straight possessions. And then here, this is a lack of effort on defense. So we see that interception, no lack of effort from the Mama Bird defense.
Look, 3 Mama Bird players in the frame there. And here, look, that's partially a lack of communication on Pitt part. They're going to box out the one player that has no play on the disc. Do we see here Cryer, former U24 coach, former Mama Johnny Bravo coach. Mama Bravo, I guess the pipeline. And he's the right coach for this Colorado team, I think. He's really good at motivating players who might not be the most spectacular individuals, but all have very solid skills and all have something to contribute into one cohesive whole. Talking to him yesterday, he said that with this team, this Mama Bird team, they don't know who's going to be the person to necessarily make the big play. They don't know necessarily who is going to put the team on their back at any given moment, but they know that someone in that huddle can and will do it.
Cryer using this timeout to full effect. His team's still in the huddle. This timeout presented by Disc Store. You can head over to discstore.com and get that $30 full sub team jersey with the promo code UltiWorld. See Christy Laurie taking some notes as the offense discusses. Laurie joining the staff, a well-traveled veteran in the Pittsburgh scene.
Pitt now needing to go upwind as the breeze picks up a little bit. You can look at the flags at the field. The Pitt and Sabinor flag near their fans' supporting section is now stiff in the breeze.
Not what you're looking for if you're looking to go upwind.
And this Pitt offense has thus far been very aggressive with deep shots, and their conversion rate is about zilch.
Warren, trying to milk that one out the back, and a nervous moment. I mean, if that drops in just before the back line, given the hole Pitt's in, that's a lot of pressure to deal with. But Warren will get a release valve from that pressure as he walks to the brick mark. Isaac Chesler waits to meet him.
Pitt running a fold play there. Not able to create the lane on the break side they were hoping for, but good swinging offense keeps the disc moving.
But this call will stop the disc. Warren with a little reenactment, but to no avail. Quick play call from Warren. Doesn't really get anything moving. A stagnant moment as he manages to find Goldstein, and now they've got a little momentum. Beautiful movement from Pittsburgh. Hannah in that familiar scoring position makes it 2-4.
That wasn't the most perfectly diagrammed offense you've ever seen, but Pitt showed that they had composed themselves from that timeout. They took the openings that were there. A nice job here from Warren moving the mark and then rifling a flick here up the wind to Hannah.
Just some defensive confusion here as you see two defenders start to go with Hannah. both realize that they accidentally left Ing open, and then both try and recover to Ing, and Hannah's wide open. Great job by Pittsburgh to take advantage of the confusion, continue to press the defense into trying to do something that they weren't prepared to do. But the blown coverage results in a Pittsburgh goal. You think there's anything to the fact that that's the first time that they didn't huck it away, that they didn't try a huck turnover and managed to score?
Well, the results certainly would say so.
I'm no
Creates
statistician.
a very digestible narrative.
It's true, and that's what we're about here. Goes down easy. Offenkamp with the pull, pulling some double duty. Offenkamp, I think, has taken a big role for this Pittsburgh team as pull sends out of bounds, but sophomore is having a very strong tournament and clearly has made himself a central part of the Pittsburgh rotation. Part of that super sophomore class. No juniors on this Pittsburgh roster. Not a one.
Colorado running a zipper there, but Pitt snuffing it out and not giving up the front of the stack.
But Colorado giving up the disc, a high throw from Brunker. So now it's Pittsburgh's chance to try and get a break. Offenkamp with the disc.
And you'll see Hoffenkamp and Sway really be the players that are in charge of dictating the tempo for this D-line offense.
Now Chris Ing with the disc, resets back to Hoffenkamp. Vertical stack for Pitt. Dylan Garrett with the disc. Really young line for Pittsburgh out there right now as McNamara dishes it over up the line for Hoffenkamp, and he does the same back-to-back upline cuts. Pittsburgh breaks.
On the previous point, we saw Pittsburgh's offense not be able to execute on their pull play, but kept their heads about them, found the holes in the defense, moved the disc down the field. Here, Colorado runs a pull play. It doesn't work out, and then they get a little frantic. They just try to put a throw out there that wasn't quite there, and they paid the price.
There you see that price being paid. Finer beating up the line. And I actually want to go back, just from where my vantage point, it looked like on that initiating vert stack play, the front of the stack, Alex Atkins turns it and takes off deep. His defender, Kevin Trey, points for the switch, and Atkins sees the point and comes back under, expecting to be bracketed, maybe to get something in that shallow breakside space wide. But I actually don't think anybody had responded to the switch. I don't know if there was anybody home on the other end of that, but Atkins makes the wrong read and comes back under, and that play is totally snuffed out. Brucker with the execution error, and value in having a lot of two-way guys. This Pitt roster is loaded with players who played both D-line and O-line.
Yeah, Hoffenkamp, an offensive starter last season when Pitt made finals.
Kevin Trey, the same. Hafiz Shams was a D-line stalwart. Now he's playing mostly O-line. So we see another huck. This one unmarked, and Tatum just throws it right to the defense. Hoffenkamp with the interception.
Momentum really swinging in Pitt's favor here. You can hear it in the crowd.
And attempting to fight around the mark. That throw poorly executed, so Atkins will get a short field. High throw, and a call by Pittsburgh on Hoffenkamp's block.
That's a tough call. We can get another look at it here.
Tough's a euphemism for bad in that situation, right?
That is correct. Hold up!
10! I'm not going to pull any punches on a call that I think looked speculative.
It's a strip needs to, you have to really stop the disc. It can't be, I kind of touched it, I sort of, even if you have your hand around it, you have to stop rotation. And that clearly didn't happen
You also
there.
can't be the second player to touch the disc of the two of you. But, now they have to play defense against a Pitt team that's got momentum. And another block for Hoffenkamp, who's putting together a pretty nice first quarter here. And can he add to that? Foul called by Hoffenkamp, so the two will interact once more. Hoffenkamp to discuss with Christopher Larson.
And I think Larson did get Hoffenkamp there, but it was after Hoffenkamp had already had the disc go off his hands. Yeah, you see that I don't think the foul impacted his ability to make that catch, and I don't think he had a play.
Yeah. I mean, you came into him very hard while he was trying to make a play on the disc. So we're going to start with the check here, okay, and then we're going to check again at the goal line.
So I'm inclined to agree with your take on it, Pat, but the orange does not. Jonathan Monforti, one of our observers here. And he awards Pitt the disc. Hoffenkamp, little dish to McNamara. That combo connects again. McNamara with the front of the stack spin move. Maybe watching a little bit of Kawhi Leonard last night, and that sets up another Pitt break. We are back to even.
Well, that was motionless iso ball like Kawhi Leonard likes to run. But it worked out here. Yeah, just a cheeky little spin move. And, high in the stall count, when you're the dump defender there, it's tough to see that coming. I think that he did a good job cutting off the swing. He had his body positioned to take away the hip turn in the direction you would normally assume the cutter is going to go, but going counterclockwise and into the end zone for a goal.
Colorado taking a timeout, probably to discuss how to defend spin moves after that one. A timeout presented by Disc Store. You should make your move and take advantage of this Disc Store offer. $30 full sub jerseys available. Promo code's All2World. Just email jerseys@discstore.com. And I know the spin move feels a little bit like a joke, but it actually is a set of footwork that you're not prepared for. Very few times at practice do you defend a reset and they make a completely different move with their feet, but effectively done. One of the top handler defenders on this team in Colorado is Alex Atkins. Alex Tatum is one of the key leaders for this team as well. Tatum, our spin player to watch. And he's going to have to guide this team back as they've had a couple of ill-advised turnovers.
Yeah, I think that we saw a tale of two halves right there within this point where Colorado comes out strong, timeout is called, Pitt refocuses, comes down with a clean hold, gets the string of breaks together. Now we have another timeout, the scoreboard is even. We'll see if Colorado can respond similarly. They have the same situation, having to go upwind with their offensive line out here. And we'll see if they can create a little bit more separation off their pull plays. As we talked about before, they've been a little frantic, not able to really take advantage of their size. They have a bit of a size advantage over some of these Pitt players, although there's a big D-line coming out here right now for Pittsburgh. Michael Ng crossing over, as well as Matt Hanna.
Tatum likely to be a part of steadying the offense. It's one of our spin players to watch, and this live broadcast of the Division I College Championships is brought to you by Spin Ultimate. You should visit them at spinultimate.com. And Brunker unmarked, but nowhere to go with it. I think a stoppage. Kevin Trey showing some discomfort downfield.
And Trey's a key player for Pittsburgh. One of the players you pointed out who can really go both ways. Will be important for Pittsburgh's D-line offense off the turn. Can also come over to the O-line if they need some fresh handler stability. So hope he's okay.
Interesting that the sophomore Trey has been spending a lot of time one-on-one with Atkins, who, has, 6 inches on him, 6'3". Pair of sophomores who have been going toe-to-toe. But instead, it'll be a different sophomore, McNamara, who comes in. Atkins with a little tuck move to get open. Colorado advancing the disc up that sideline. Cole Besser looking for a reset. Finds Atkins. Atkins giving his team some encouragement. Not enough to avoid Michael Ing, a layout block, and Ing streaking to the end zone. The shot from McNamara, Ing with an incredible catch. The momentum has swung fully to Pittsburgh. They lead 5-4.
Whatever Colorado talked about in that timeout, I don't think they executed on it there. Getting trapped on the forced sideline, unable to swing it off, essentially the whole point, and then trying a swing with a high-release backhand is tough. When you're throwing out across the field like that, there's going to be a lot of channels for defenders to come in, particularly athletic defenders like Michael Ing, who can make plays like that. Good read on the disc, good body control. But when you throw swings like that across the field, they have to be sharp. They have to have that right edge on them that's going to blade them away from any oncoming defenders. And when you hang one out there like that, a player like Ing is going to make the block basically every time.
Over the course of this tournament with the wins, we've seen a lot of backhands spend more time aloft than intended, and it's just really a pull on the lever whenever you do it. We see Ing grabbing a nutritious snack on the sideline.
Trying to make out exactly what cereal that is.
I mean, this is a quality branding opportunity. But Ing,
some Quaker Oats, it looks potentially. I guess that fits for a Pittsburgh person or a Pennsylvania person coming out of the Philadelphia area. Quakers are a big part of Lancaster.
So Feiner takes the centering pass. Some poaching happening around the disc, engineered by Pittsburgh. Atkins winds up a big fake. Got to respect that because he might put up something like this. Cooper against Tatum, a lot of contact. As Tatum tried to go up. Cooper trying to hold position. Both players still down.
Okay. Yeah, you guys can talk to. We're talking here first. We're not going to rule until you guys ask.
So I guess they're going to have the conversation here. Cooper claiming that he was making a straight line to the disc. Tatum claiming that he just came into his back, not making a play on the disc, I would imagine. I don't know if that was catchable, but we saw earlier that...
So the observer ruling is yes, it was a foul. And just be a little more careful. There's a lot of contact. I don't think it's intentional or anything, but just be aware. So, observer's ruling is it's a foul. We're going to have Black's disc right here. Check it in here and then walk it back to the line once the defense is ready.
And the observer's demonstrating that even on discs that are marginally catchable, similar to the Hoffenkamp one in the end zone earlier, if you create that contact as a defender, they will probably uphold the call.
On the responsibility of the defense to make sure that they're playing safely and within the rules. So we see Feiner take the easy score following the Tatum foul, and kind of like a free throw after the foul there. Feiner with the goal, 5-5.
So we're going to get another look at the foul here. Yeah, I see the argument. I don't think Cooper is really making a play on the disc. He's kind of cutting Tatum out there, so I can understand where the observer is coming from, but I don't know if Tatum was ever going to be able to catch that.
Yeah, I'm mostly on the same page with you. It's same as the call up here, so I think that a consistency from the crew here in Orange, who I think have had a very strong weekend from what I've seen. A lot of engagement, mostly positive, and I think I've had a good impact on the quality of play here.
Particularly, they've done a good job at moving the pace of play along without sacrificing the player agency in the calls. I think they've done a good job from what I've seen of laying out, here's the discussion that you are having as players. Here are the actual points of conflict that need to be resolved, which has limited the sort of long-winded, well, you did this, but then I did this. They're letting players say their piece, but they're boiling it down to the essentials of what the piece is.
Warren receiving the pull for Pittsburgh. Starting to Lemberg, who quickly swings it out to Goldstein. Pitt's offense crossing the midline. Finally having to go the other way, and that change of direction yields a drop out of Warren.
That's a tough catch to make, given how fast Warren was running, having to decelerate into the catch, but one you're going to need to make in high-pressure games like this.
Feiner with the disc. And that one gets away from a Colorado receiver, but find out if he is bailed out by a foul on the second effort. Sean Chappell discussing with Ing. Looks like that's going to be uncontested.
And I guess Ing feeling that he did have to create contact in order to get the angle to make the play on the disc. Good spirit from Ing there.
High release forehand, another one of these hanging swings, but Feiner able to go up with two hands, bring that one in safely. High stall, finds an option, and into the end zone, but travel call then immediately retracted, I think. Connor Tabor on the assist.
And another goal for Low Ridge, always popping up in the right space. Nice point there from Colorado.
And another break. I mean, we have struggled to find clean O-line offense in this game.
But D-line offense for both teams has looked very competent.
Time to put the D-line out, I don't know. It's the only solution, Patrick.
And partially it's a mindset thing sometimes. When you're on offense, you get a little more nervous, a little more, we can't mess up. Whereas when you're on defense, this is an opportunity. This is our chance to do something. And there's less of a floor, less to be nervous about. And it looks like for both teams that might be impacting the way that they're playing.
We've seen 2 clean holds in this game. Breaks have been on the menu. 7 goals of the 11 we have been scored by the D-lines. We'll see if Colorado can add to that total.
And a break-heavy game like this becomes a mental challenge. We talk not only about the difference between being on offense and being on defense, but the difference between thinking, okay, this is a game where we have to be really tight versus this is a game where we know there's going to be runs, we know there's going to be opportunities to make up for any mistakes we make, so let's not be too worried about making mistakes.
And we'll find out if a mistake was made here. A layout block attempt from Colorado has generated a foul call by Lemberg.
We've gotten a break on most points, and we've gotten a foul call on most points. Not a great angle there.
Oh, we're not moving yet. We're not moving yet. Hold up. 9. Start with a check here first.
It's amazing how often you see that. Almost every time a call gets made by an observer, one player starts walking away. Years now this has been happening. You think people would start to adjust a little bit.
It's just part of the way it works. Maybe it's in the rules. You got to walk away first, get rebuked. Right now, another chance for the D-line to score. Offense is struggling. Atkins looking for a reset. Little to work with, so forced to try and find a hammer upwind. intercepted by Lemberg, and now Pitt's offense back where they intended to be.
Atkins absolutely hung out to dry there by his cutters. Just as we're praising D-line offense, we see some of the ugliest offense we've seen today.
Around break from Lemberg to Warren, gets Pitt to the doorstep. And contested catch, Goldstein's hat nearly knocked off, but the goal stands.
And we see the aggressive non-spike there from Goldstein, making a clear point that he did not appreciate that contact by placing the disc very intentionally down after taking a second. Is he going to spike it? Is he going to unleash a massive? No, he's just going to put it down.
We are at that point in college men's ultimate where the baseline is spiking, so to upset the equilibrium, you have to not spike it.
A great catch through contact there. Defender really didn't look like he had a clean play on the disc. I'm sort of surprised the observers didn't give him a card for that.
Yeah, I kind of think we're getting to that point. I mean, that is the third contact-heavy situation we've seen on a high throw. I think we're going to continue to see high throws in this game, and players are throwing themselves around with a little bit of recklessness.
I wouldn't be surprised if on the next one an observer steps in. You see, this is by far the nicest conditions we've had here this weekend.
Under double digits wins and 75 degrees. I mean, this is downright pleasant.
86% humidity, but we'll take it given how it's been the past 2 days.
McNamara with the pull, and Feiner lets it drift to the ground. Not sure why, but far be it from me to
Call someone a coward? Is that what
question one of the top offensive players in the division, I was going to say. Feiner, a under 24 national team selection, taking the place of the injured Will Laurie in that roster. Not able to help out his offense here as a throw is forced. That's essentially the second straight high stall punt we've seen from Colorado. Atkins on the point prior, and now here's Hoffenkamp initiating that Pittsburgh D-line offense. Vertical stack clears up, and Hoffenkamp tosses it to the ground and blames his reset.
Important to find someone to blame for a throw like that.
Now Colorado back underway. Some poaching for Pittsburgh as they try and slow down Colorado, see if they can make them throw something more difficult. Atkins and Cooper with a very physical matchup right now. Cooper outsized by quite a bit. And now Atkins throws the blade around. This is an ambitious throw from the sophomore. Unable to keep that one in bounds.
Atkins did not look to swing or dump once there. Colorado has been trapped on this flick sideline, had several turnovers, and don't really appear to be even trying to get off of it.
Cooper comes underneath. Just another one of the sophomores. This line is almost entirely sophomores. I don't think there's anybody who's older than a sophomore on this Pittsburgh defense right now. Ing underneath. Gets it back to McNamara. Now he's looking deep. Garrett with tons of separation, but the throw leaving something to be desired. But it takes two. Kevin Trey with a little tip, an alley-oop, and Garrett comes down with it. Another break in this game.
And I believe, it's a little hard to keep track, I think we're on serve right now.
Colorado started on defense, so I think that is right. We've taken the longest path to get there. And look at the effort from Kevin Trey. I can't even tell. Oh, like, was that his plan? He gets right in front of the defense, so if he deflects it, there's no possible way they can help on Garrett.
That's an effort play. He came around a defender. The defender was slowing down, trying to, size up the disc, and Trey said, I'm getting in front of you, and I'm putting a play on this.
And our live streaming coverage presented by Oak Creek Ultimate. They're offering a team promotion of 25% off on all team orders of 12 pieces or more. Contact them at sales@oakcreekultimate.com before June 6th to take advantage of that limited time promotion. That's sales@oakcreekultimate.com to get 25% off your next team order. So the defenses continue to find the end zone at a high clip. Warren crossing over to the defense. Well, that is where he made his mark as one of the breakout players in the division last year. So just another weapon for Colorado's offense to contend with, although they find an opportunity to look deep. And a beautiful throw. Connor Tabor take a bow. A perfect shot into the hands of Matthew Agee.
That's a club level throw right there. Often in college, we use the term throw. People are just throwing it downfield. That was controlled. That was aimed. He intended for that disc to do everything that it did. Very, very impressive throw to take us into double half point.
Yeah, that's something that, as a coach, I frame as the difference between throwing it far and hucking it. I mean, and it's a lot easier to just throw it as far as you can. It's a lot different to take control of your throw and put it to a target that just happens to be far away. And that was an excellent throw from Connor Tabor.
So as this game gets tight before half, we have another tight game in the field complex. Ohio State and Brown tied at 7. A little bit of a potential upset there from Ohio State, who, after an 0-2 Friday, have been rolling here. Cal Poly is leading Michigan 4-2, so either maybe a little more of a wind-affected game there.
Well, that game started a half hour after the previous two.
That makes more sense. That makes more sense.
So Ohio State, Colorado, Pittsburgh, Brown, all eligible to make the semifinals, where the winner of those two games will meet, but all with equal scores of 7 right now. So it's anybody's ball game. A little less tight in the North Carolina game. They've got an early lead, 4-1 on Wisconsin. Not unlike what Colorado built out here against Pittsburgh, so could come back. Fee Shams coming back to the disc to get that one from Ing. And as we started, Noah Robinson, the big cat on the open side, caught the game's opening goal, catches the one that takes us to half. Pitt leads 8-7.
Robinson catching, as you noted, the first goal of the game and the halftime sealing goal. But it was not a half of easy storylines like that. There's a lot going back and forth, a lot of defensive goals, and the half ends on one of the cleanest, just simple offense moving up the four side points we've seen.
Yeah, an interesting kind of back and forth as we've seen Pittsburgh dial back the really aggressive offense that we saw to start the game, but then they close off with that really smooth, composed hold. Shows the experience that this Pittsburgh team has. They've been here plenty of times before, and we'll see if that experience can carry them back to the semifinals. They've got a halftime lead of 8-7 over Colorado, so the teams will take a break. We'll take a break for a word from our sponsors, and we'll be back for some conversation with Jimmy Mickle and Trent Dillon. Don't miss it.
We come in all different shapes and sizes, but our uniforms don't. Equipped with multiple jersey cuts, lengths, and sizes, Full Circle is the perfect fit for your whole team. Look better, feel better, play better. Full Circle.
this, you mean our left? Stage left? Okay. Squeeze in, like maybe fold a little bit.
I can.
We play better.
An Ultiworld subscription gets you closer to the players and personalities you care about with game video, in-depth written and video analysis,
He's going to take off deep, but what he does is very simple.
documentary shorts,
And we've played Brute Squad before, and it just feels a little bit harder to lose this year.
and a whole lot more. To get your subscription or learn more, go to ultiworld.com/subscribe.
What do we have at stake? You got something?
Got it proposed. And welcome back for a little halftime show here. We've got Live Ultimate ambassadors Trent Dillon, an alum of Pittsburgh, and Jimmy Mickle, an alum of Colorado. So also two excited fans of this game. What did you think of the first half, Trent?
A lot of action, a lot of breaks, a lot of excitement. Pitt going down early, really excited to see them claw their way back. Showed a lot of perseverance.
Jimmy, what do you think about the D-lines really taking control of this first half, and how do you respond if you're an offense?
Yeah, I mean, I think Pitt was throwing some poaches off the Monverde vert stack that was giving us a bit of trouble. So, yeah, I trust Owen Westbrook and Mikey and Bob Cryer as coaches to kind of go out and make some adjustments, move the disc side to side, break through that kind of softer Pitt defense. So, not super worried about it.
Yeah.
We've got calmer conditions today, I think, than what we've seen in any of the previous rounds. Trent, do you think that favors Pitt or Colorado?
I'm not totally sure. Well, as we were down on the field there, we noticed it's actually a little blustery, so it's not like it's not windy. But yeah, it's a different game. Both of these teams have shown they can play upwind defense to get to this, or upwind offense to get to this point in the tournament. So it's changed a little bit. Once Pitt starts connecting on some of those hucks that we saw that went awry in the first couple points, I think that they're going to take this game away if they can they can complete those hucks.
So I have to imagine you guys have a rooting interest. You guys got anything at stake here? Anything on the line besides pride?
There was some talk of a raw egg, I think, something involved, right? Maybe.
Yeah, we were talking about drinking raw egg. We got some Monverde and Pittsburgh hats, so that you might see Trent sporting a Monverde hat for the rest of the weekend. We'll see. There's a couple of things we're talking. So
they're nice hats.
That could be good. And speaking of raw eggs, one of my compatriots in the booth, Pat Stegemeller, he and his podcast co-host Tad Whistle going to be playing some 2-on-2 today. You guys think about taking on the Sin the Fields boys in a little 2-on-2?
I forgot my cleats at the hotel.
Oh, they can play barefoot.
We can run back. Hotels right down the road.
Universe Point is not far from here.
2v2 sounds like a lot of running. You sure you're ready for
It's a game. It's a game
early
of
in the
three.
season.
Trent, are you scared you can't beat Tad?
I would hate for Jimmy to get injured. So
Gotta protect that Live Ultimate
Can I play with Tad instead of Trent? I prefer that.
Maybe we'll have to check with the Sin the Fields guys, but I'm really excited for this second half and appreciate you guys joining us for a little halftime show. We're going to take a brief break and come back for the second half in just a few. Nice work, guys. Just a little vamping.
Brown took half with Ohio State. Michigan Cup Polly's 5-4, and North Carolina's 5-5.
Who are you on right now, Aiden? Okay, I might move to the center for the full team. And welcome back to UltiWorld's live streaming coverage of the 2019 Division I College Championships here in Round Rock, Texas, presented in partnership with USA Ultimate. Keith Rayner here in the booth with Patrick Stegemeller, getting ready for, if anything like the first half, a heavily contested second half between Pittsburgh and Colorado. Pittsburgh able to get an 8-7 lead, but the game's still on serve.
Personally, it's just been great to see some crisp ultimate played where teams are able to implement strategy and throws and not just play the same kind of destructive wind ball that we've seen for the past 2 days.
Wind's still having an impact, but certainly the two teams look a bit more comfortable than what we've seen from many other squads. Tabor throws that throw, and you can see that throw rising in the breeze. Besser brings it down, and now comes around to Brunker. Nice job by Colorado to switch fields. Some uncontested throws for Mama Bird. Gets them just outside the end zone in the hands of Tatum. Tatum, a quiet first half, but starts the second half with an assist to Besser.
Pretty easy offense there for Mama Bird. One little sticking point sort of near the sideline, but other than that, swing, 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 in cut, goal.
Yeah, that looked like a drill. I mean, that's how you would drill the vertical stack, right up the open side, switch fields with the reset, then go back the other way for the goal. The first half dominated by the D-lines, but offensive lines have scored the past two with nice, clean holds.
You see the extensive Pitt coaching staff operating out here on the line. I believe 5 coaches listed in the program.
Yeah, we noted on the Deep Look live show podcast before the tournament that this is the first time that we can find that every team at the tournament has a listed coach. Pittsburgh, well ahead of the curve.
Well, after losing to UNC Darkside in the final last year, Pittsburgh maybe thought that our problem was not enough coaches. Emulated Darkside's, I think, 16, 17 coaches?
I really think they're going for player-to-player coaching. Like, that is their goal.
Right, personal one-on-one.
Like maybe one overseeing head coach, and then every other individual has a coach. Pittsburgh, we'll see if these players can benefit from their extensive coaching staff. Hannah able to come underneath to get that one from Ing. Pitt trying to beat Colorado at their own game with the vertical stack. And looking quite effective in this possession. Warren drops the shoulder for a fake. Getting high stall, so he's forced to throw one off the line. I think a foul called by Ing upfield against Feiner on his attempt to make a move.
And it might have been the foul on Ing's attempted 7 cut here. Ing goes up, and he's trying to cut back across the face of the mark. And Feiner impeded his ability to do so. But I think Feiner has a decent case that, you know, he's in that space. Ing can't just move through him for the sake of making the 7 cut. Sounds like Ing is claiming that he was essentially forced out of bounds and out of the play by Feiner.
Yeah, I think the idea of what you were saying, that Feiner doesn't owe him that space, is correct. And if Feiner, it's more of a question of what happened. If Feiner was just holding position, I don't think there's a foul there, but if Feiner's trying to claim the space, then a little bit different. This is going to go to Colorado. I really think a failure of the handler. Warren didn't really make a strong attempt to get it off the line. Now Colorado with a chance to move the disc towards the end zone. A deep shot from Chesler. We've seen this before. And the second half on script with the first half as Lockridge brings in the break from Chesler. Colorado retakes the lead.
Second verse, same as the first. And this is even basically the same throw. We see it just sharp across the vert stack. And then I think going into the wind helped that throw because the texture of the wind kind of holds it up. He throws it at first, and it seems like it's just going to be shooting out of bounds, but the wing causes it to rise a little bit, hold up, giving time for the receiver to run it down.
And let me say that is just a shot to the heart of an offensive unit. A red zone turnover that rapidly turns into a break the other way, particularly upwind, is tough to stomach. But we'll see if the Pittsburgh offense has the constitution to battle back after conceding that break.
We saw in the first half that both of these teams have D-lines that can get breaks in bunches and can execute with the disc in their hands. The team that's going to win this game is the team whose offense can show that they can start really executing with the disc in their hands.
Yeah, I don't think either team's O-line is going to look back at this game with a lot of pride right now. Getting outscored soundly by the D-lines. And an offsides call, our first of the game. So we'll get a re-pull here.
How do you feel about one offsides having no penalty? Do you like the warning shot, or do you think there should be a penalty for the first offsides?
I like at least one offsides warning. I think that the advantage you get from the infraction is like mostly fairly minor. Maybe you have an offsides 1 and offsides 2 for like, or a card for if you're egregiously offsides, if you're just trying to cheat. But most of the time, not a big advantage to be gained from offsides, and it's, oh my.
Big advantage to be gained from a first throw Callahan, though.
What an eerie moment for Pittsburgh. I don't quite know what happened, but how unsettled their offense must be. We talked about how it goes down poorly to give up a break like that, and they were not ready for a response.
That starts with the huge pull going towards the back corner of the end zone. That adds a little bit of pressure, and that pressure was exhibited by the throw from Hafiz Shams. He didn't really step out and pivot. He was trying to get the disc out right away. Causes it to just elevate up in the air. And then also elevating up in the air is this Colorado defense to sky for a Callahan.
I don't know what Shams was thinking as he went to field the pull. I think Pittsburgh has actually been the best field pulling team at this tournament. they seem really well organized back there, and this is just a moment of nerves. As that centering pass, sailing and intercepted for a emphatic Callahan that pushes Colorado's lead to 2. And again, the D-lines finding the end zone. The O-line set on a long walk.
And there we get a view of the Callahan itself. It looks like either of those Colorado players could have come down with it. Sometimes the game is just about having more bodies in the right place, and there Colorado had plenty of bodies to swarm that floaty throw.
Lemberg looking deep, and a blown coverage pick, don't know. A wide open Noah Robinson.
No pick call, that's a goal. Big Cat gets Pitt on the board in the second half.
I don't think Noah Robinson's actually played that many points, but he is scoring, it feels like, every time he goes on the field. Big Cat has struggled to stay healthy. I don't know, maybe it's tough to find the right food for a Big Cat like that guy, but
they have very particular diets.
Right. Not native to this area, really.
Right, exactly. They can only eat like grass-fed emus, and that's tough to find in the greater Pittsburgh metropolitan area.
for whatever reason it may be, we can only speculate. Robinson has not always been able to be at 100%, and so his usage has been limited, but he's been effective, at least in this game, finding the end zone for Pittsburgh 3 times now, all downwind.
And now Pittsburgh's D-line gets a chance to get some breaks back. They were able to in the first half. Colorado going out to a 4-1 lead before getting pegged back by Pitt. But it's also a big opportunity for Colorado's O-line to show that they can put in holds and keep the lead that their D-line gave them.
Swinging across the field to Besser. Just free yardage, really, for Atkins, uncontested underneath. Now Tatum in the red zone. Looking backwards for a release valve from Atkins.
Atkins used a fake to not move the mark, and it cost him the opportunity to throw a forced side goal there. So just wasteful pivoting.
And now Tatum into the end zone for Besser, who makes sure of that one despite the intentions of Dylan Garrett. Colorado holds. Take another look at Besser fighting off Garrett. Another one of those plays where a high throw and you see a lot of contact on the reception, but Colorado takes it. They now lead 11-9. We're going to take a brief break for a word from our sponsors.
We come in all different shapes and sizes, but our uniforms don't. Equipped with multiple jersey cuts, lengths, and sizes, Full Circle is the perfect fit for your whole team. Look better, feel better, play better. Full Circle.
And we are back for this quarterfinal matchup. Colorado holds a 2-goal lead over Pittsburgh, looking to earn a place in the semifinals. Colorado, last time they were in the semifinals was that national championship season, led by Jimmy Mickle, 2014. Hoping to make their return and maybe repeat history a little bit.
Yeah, both of these teams, elite programs in the earlier part of the decade. Pitt winning titles in 2012 and 2013, Colorado in 2014. Neither have had that same success in the past few years. Of course, Pitt making finals last year. Colorado hasn't been back to semis since the title team of 2014.
Believe in program history, Colorado has managed to reach the semifinals 10 times. Pittsburgh with a 10-year and now 11 straight quarterfinals appearances. Disc up ahead to Lemberg. And Hannah on the give and go. A lot of scores to that open side of the end zone for Pittsburgh. So Lemberg on the assist. Let's hear from Andrew Lemberg directly in a little interview.
I think we would define success this weekend by truly going out and executing to the best of our ability. Naturally, we want to perform the best we can, and we've kind of set out this season to develop this perfect team, as it were, in our eyes. And if we can play up to those expectations, I think that will be a success. The extrinsic motivator, the actually winning, is also a measure of success, but I think they're kind of hand in hand. So my hair has been a development throughout all of college. My teammates will tell you that I came in to college my freshman year with like a bowl cut, is how they'll describe it. And you know, the inspiration of other alumni on the team and their hairstyles has developed it along this way. So this is the final product, my final form.
So there you hear from the Pittsburgh fifth-year Lemberg. A little about the success and goals of Pittsburgh, what it means to be a part of this Insabener program, a little about the hairstyle.
What do you think about the hairstyle?
I like it best when he can get a little hair throw in. And he's like maybe a little short on that. But he's been playing very well at this tournament, so it must be working for him. Gets that assist on the previous hold. Now trying to be matched by Quinn Feiner, although the wind pops this up. That just makes for a more spectacular catch for Tatum, towing the back line for a Colorado hold.
Despite how close the game was, there was a certain lack of urgency because of the way that defenses were able to pile breaks on. But now that the offenses are starting to get holds, we're realizing how tight this game is, how close we are to the end here. And now these D-lines really have to start getting breaks here. Colorado's offense making a tough play, looks somewhat routine. That is a hard throw to keep from going out of bounds, both out of the back of the end zone and out of the sideline, given the curve on it. And then Tatum with a great read despite the pop from the wind.
Yeah, I don't know that I necessarily would say that Quinn Feiner managed to keep that one inbounds. The work of Alex Tatum on that back line really giving him a lot of help. But those are some of the veteran playmakers on this Colorado team, and to see them stepping up in a critical moment like this has to lend confidence to the rest of this roster.
We've got some score updates coming in here. In the women's division, UC San Diego and Carleton knotted up at 6-6. Those are two one seeds in the pool meeting in quarters.
Carleton upset by Dartmouth, a tentative 5 seed.
Another one seed, Ohio State, is up 6-5 on Wisconsin, sort of the surprise quarterfinalist. And Western Washington playing Dartmouth right now. I believe, is that correct? Up 8-5?
8-7, I believe.
8-7. 8-7.
UNC, the final one seed we've yet to discuss. They have a 10-6 lead over Santa Barbara. So they have been kicking butt and taking names, and that has continued into the quarterfinals for UNC, but we've seen Santa Barbara come back before.
But Dartmouth trailing at half is the big story there, as they've laid waste to every team they've played this weekend. This is their first actual challenge.
Yeah, and against a team that has never made it past the quarterfinals in Western Washington, the two-time champs going to need to step it up. Western Washington is not planning on going home early. Neither is Pittsburgh, as Lemberg lofts one. Thompson forced to try and sky Atkins. Can't come down with that.
And an injury call here. Thompson might have gone knee to bone into the back of Atkins. And that throw just a little short, putting some blade on it from Lemberg, but he needs that to go further to the break side so Atkins doesn't get a play on it.
So Feiner subbing in for Colorado, Helensky subbing in for Pittsburgh, and see how this one continues to play out.
We've got Cal Poly up 8-5 on Michigan in one of the other men's quarterfinals.
Moving forward now, this Colorado offense. Keep getting the score updates as we get them. Brown up 12-9 on Ohio State. Again, the winner of that quarterfinal will play the winner of this one. And if things hold, it'll be Colorado against Brown. But got a long way to go to get there. Stall count climbing. But Chappell able to get some just enough room, and that helps free up this Colorado offense.
Warren completely failing to set the mark after his person got the dump.
Feiner with a great throw to Chesler. The lefty has been maybe the most effective weapon in the Colorado arsenal as far as going upwind. Able to use that backhand to great effect.
Left-handed players just shouldn't be allowed to play in windy games because it's just unfair. It's entirely unfair that they get to throw backhands.
Might be unfair being having UNC in the field. They've got a nice lead in their quarterfinal, 7-3 up on Wisconsin. Feiner takes the centering pass. Resets back to Chesler. Roll coverage. Chesler with a charge right through Goldstein. That'll stop play.
Goldstein is moving there, but it did look like he didn't necessarily create that contact.
Yeah, in basketball, that is a block. But wrong sport as Atkins comes underneath and pulls that one in.
Colorado so close now to what would be a huge break.
Chesler sets it up, and he continues to be effective upwind. Colorado pushing out to a late lead. They're up 13-10 with another break.
We said that this would be about offensive execution here in the second half. And then Goldstein poaching too far under the force side there in the end zone, just leaving his player open. I guess you could say he's helping off to stop a force side goal after Warren is getting beat to the cone. So that's decent team defense, but better offense from Colorado, who kept pushing, and great job recognizing where the open player was going to be after the help came from Goldstein.
So a hole for Pittsburgh, and our live streaming coverage of the college championships is brought to you in part by Oak Creek Ultimate. From full sub jerseys to screen printed t-shirts, no type of decoration or product that Oak Creek doesn't offer. Don't have time to collect orders? Let Oak Creek build your group a team store, and they'll do the work for you. Reach out to them at sales@oakcreekultimate.com to get your order started today. Teams entering a timeout and also take advantage of this offer. Get some full sub jerseys for your team for just $30 each using the promo code ULTIWORLD. You can email jerseys@discstore.com to receive the exclusive offer of our timeout sponsor, Disc Store. That offer expires May 31st. So I mean, you can really reload your entire wardrobe right now. Get yourself something from Oak Creek, then you can take advantage of the full sub offer from Disc Store. I mean, you'll have something from every day of the week. So Pittsburgh facing a tough challenge, a hill to climb in front of an offense that really has not been able to find its rhythm. And we talked a little bit on the last possession. Warren beat to the open side. Goldstein caught trying to help him. That felt less like good team defense and more like players under pressure trying desperately to make a play as they feel this game slipping away from them. And Pittsburgh has been the team in this second half that has looked like they are feeling the weight of the pressure, the misfielded pull that turns into a Callahan, blown coverages on defense. And the team that's been here before needs to show some composure. They bring in Big Cat going upwind with this offensive unit. Shams finds Robinson underneath. Great step around backhand from Robinson to Lemberg. Ing free for that open side throw.
Nice inside flick there from Ing. He had a strike cut, but he recognized the value of getting the disc off the sideline to Lemberg.
And Lemberg uses that position to put up a deep shot to Hanna. Hanna touches it with 3 or 4 parts of his body, but not enough body parts to get the catch.
Not the right ones either, as he got a good foot to it, but and I think that's a catch he has to make. It's tough, it's blading in, he's going to the ground, but you get 2 hands on it in a situation like this, and it's tough not to come up with it.
Chesler, low throw, saved from the turf by Atkins. Atkins points deep, you know what he wants, puts up a shot, and contact on the effort to get deep. Robinson taking down Lockridge.
So Colorado will get the disc on the doorstep, and Robinson needs to take an injury sub. Just a really sour series of events there for Pittsburgh.
I think maybe even worse. Yeah, obviously the biggest thing is giving up that huck and being a few yards away from giving up a break that will all but seal this one, I think, for Colorado. But letting Colorado get to sub in offensive personnel to finish off this possession is fairly brutal. So a really, really tight spot for Colorado or for Pittsburgh as Colorado takes a timeout, and our timeouts are presented by Disc Store.
And that throw from Atkins is notable for a few reasons, partially because he called his shot. In calling his shot, the Michael Ing recognized what was happening, shifted over, even got low. But Atkins stepped out with his wiry frame and was still able to keep a nice flat edge on the disc. A lot of times when you see someone have to step out that far, it's going to turn over a little bit OI. It stayed flat out in front, and while it didn't result in a completion, it got the job done, and Colorado is on the doorstep.
Take a look at this one. Lockridge probably could have lined that one up had the contact not come, but Atkins, probably the most aggressive deep thrower on this Colorado roster, and helps them get towards the end zone. And Pittsburgh's back's not quite against the wall, but maybe only an inch from it, as Lockridge gets ready to bring it in the red zone with a Colorado vertical stack in front of him. Gets this back to Feiner.
Great defense from Ing at the front of the stack.
A lot of dancing at the front of this Colorado stack, but Pittsburgh staying tight to their charges. Feiner gets it around to Tatum. Tatum looking to reset the disc. Nobody's here, but able to throw open Atkins with a well-timed safety throw.
And that's the only place that throw could have gone without giving Ing a spot to get a block. Excellent throw from Tatum.
A strong stand from Pittsburgh here, but Colorado finds a shot they like. It's not to be. Atkins overthrowing his target, and Pittsburgh gets the goal line stand they desperately needed.
Amazing defense from Pittsburgh there. Choking off the front of the stack, having just enough help, a shadow of help into the break side without compromising their force side cover. They did everything well there that we didn't see them do on their previous goal line defensive possession. And that's another turnover for Atkins, who has had some very bright spots, but it's a double-edged sword with players like that who have the confidence to make almost any throw, but that means that they will do it.
Ing underneath. Lemberg looking deep again. Hoffenkamp has separation, and it's enough to collect a goal. So a red zone turnover for Colorado with a chance to try to put the dagger in, but life from Pittsburgh as they score upwind.
Soft cap going off that point, meaning we will be playing to 15. If Pitt is able to come back and win this game, we're going to talk about that goal line defense. And then gutsy play here from Lemberg, shrugging off contact and then using the opening to deliver a nice flick to Hoffenkamp, who got position, went straight up, and came down with a goal.
If I'm not mistaken, and I could be, it's been quite a wild ride this game. That turnover in the red zone is the first turnover by Colorado in the second half.
I think you're right, Keith. Their offense has been clean all half, and their defense had been, up until that point, able to punch breaks in fairly easily. I think that was right. That's their only turnover.
Yeah, we often talk about it's so hard to assess in any sport where you're matching up directly with another person whether success is due to one team's failure or one team's strong play. And I honestly think that this half has been a defensive failure for Pittsburgh in a lot of ways, but to show up when the team needed it the most, I mean, that was a remarkable possession by the Pittsburgh defense, which is now on the field with a chance to try and bring this team back into the game.
And I think you have to be a little critical of that timeout call from Colorado. You have the advantage of numbers. I know it's coming out of the foul call, so it's not necessarily a fast break in the purest sense, but giving Pittsburgh the chance to get set, to get composed, to set up their end zone defense might have cost them that point.
The freshman Besser checks it in on this vital offensive point. Tatum blading a forehand towards the end zone. Feiner not able to get there, so Colorado had played a clean half, but now the offense leaving the door open for Pittsburgh. Trey up to Ing. Ing pumps a huck and then lifts a backhand to Goldstein. Another deep shot fake that sets up an under. Now Warren with the disc. And Warren, I think, looking for a huck, but Hoffenkamp in the area tries to make the catch and defends his own team.
Wires getting crossed there for Pittsburgh. Warren clearly dialed in downfield.
And just an unfortunate moment of timing for the Pittsburgh D-line offense.
And part of that comes down to your team philosophy of, are we going to be handler cut driven? Are we going to be downfield cut driven, about whether or not Hoffenkamp has the right to make that immediate cut, or if he should be giving Warren some time to have a clear throwing window.
Pittsburgh matched up on defense, aggressively switching against Colorado's vert. Tatum underneath. looks for a reset and has plenty of room for one. Brunker around. Soft throw to Besser. Again, the freshman marked by the star Ing, and I think a stall call, potentially. Haven't seen a signal yet.
Feiner making up for his drop on the previous possession with a reflex snag there.
So stall is called.
Stall upheld. Pittsburgh gets the disc back. Another chance for a break that they really need.
Another defensive stand by Nsabanur. Warren picks up with a chance to try and put Pittsburgh back into this one. Offenkamp, long throw, but nobody's going. Another miscommunication for Pittsburgh's D-line offense.
Yeah, Goldstein was clearing into the deep space, but didn't ever really look like he was intending to cut. It looked like he was keying off of Ing's in cut and was going to react to that. Hoffenkamp maybe feeling a little nervous, wanting to end this point with one throw.
You know, you talk in practice all the time about making your clears viable cuts, and they're just a little bit of a head-down situation, but I think the nerves are showing. The weight of this moment. Colorado tries to save that one. Feiner can't get to it, so a goal line turnover, and Pittsburgh immediately takes a timeout.
We'll see if Colorado can replicate Pittsburgh's goal line stand out of a timeout.
And this timeout is presented by Disc Store. Get those $30 full sub jerseys by sending the promo code UltiWorld jerseys at discstore.com. So the team's taking a timeout. We'll take a brief break for a word from our sponsors. And we are back for the conclusion of this quarterfinal game. 13-11, Colorado leads, but the score may not stand for long if Pittsburgh can punch in this break with this red zone possession out of the timeout. We just saw Colorado fail to execute coming out of the timeout just outside the end zone. We'll see if Pittsburgh can do them one better. Warren checks in with Brunker on the mark, has an easy reset to McNamara, and that is not how you draw it up if you're the Colorado defense. Ing with the break score for Pittsburgh, and now it's 13-12.
With the wind all but dead here at the field complex, we have ourselves a tense finish to this game. And that's that flick side backhand that has been a subject of discussion this weekend. It worked out there for Pittsburgh.
Pitt alum Trent Dillon in favor, and it works there for Pitt, despite the protestations of Colorado alum Jimmy Mickle. So Colorado with the lead, a chance to upset Pittsburgh. Not the only potential upset here at the Fields. Western Washington in the women's division, just a couple of throws potentially away from upsetting the two-time champion Dartmouth. So you'll want to be glued to the broadcast on our UltiWorld Live page so you can follow along with the updates on Twitter while you keep an eye on this thrilling contest. UltiWorld.com/live, the place to be for your coverage of the college championships. So this game, the tension has risen, it has mounted, and the players are going to have to stand up against it. We've seen a lot of nervous mistakes over the past couple points. Which team has the composure to survive? Colorado with that edge right now. It's there on offense with the 1-goal lead. Disc up ahead to Larson. Now on that sideline. Open side throw gets them off, and now Feiner with a wide open throw to the break side, and the Pitt defense not up to snuff there. Feiner punches it in for the goal.
A good response from Colorado's offense, working it up the force side, able to move it into the middle of the field, and then Feiner puts a seeing eye flick into the break space. You can see him eyeballing that lane, and once Larson makes the cut, that throw is going up. Dartmouth has just scored on their field, setting up double game point between Dartmouth and Western Washington. We've got a close one here. Quarterfinals is the college quarterfinals morning is the best 2-hour stretch in Ultimate every year. This is incredibly exciting.
Yeah, if you could push regionals weekend into a smaller window, you might be able to capture this, but there's just so much on the line, and you can feel that. You can see it on the field. The players showing just how much it means to them. Even in the pre-quarterfinal round, a lot of tears for teams whose seasons were ended, tears of joy on the other side, and I imagine we will see the same this round as seasons are on the line. Aspirations, title hopes, seniors, fifth years, grad students whose careers are ending, some in this game. Only one team's season will continue from this matchup, and Pittsburgh hoping it'll be them. It's going to require a furious comeback. Shams with the disc. Change on the mark there. Besser switches the mark late in the stall count.
That can be disorienting, but Shams read it well and put a nice backhand into the break space.
Shams comes under to get the disc. Now looking for a reset. Delivers the around to Hoffenkamp. Ing takes off, beats his man. The help defense trying to get there, but can Ing get to the throw? He cannot. Despite the heroic efforts of the Pittsburgh star, the throw too far to reach, and that deep throw has continued to betray Pittsburgh for much of this game.
That's the right decision. An athlete like Ing getting steps on his defender without any help cover over the top. You put that hook up 10 times out of 10, the execution just wasn't quite there.
Besser hitting the around on a possession that could send Mama Bird to the semifinals for the first time since 2014. Contested under for Chesler.
A lot of stagnation going on right now in the Colorado stack.
Besser with a nice break. The freshman looks unfettered by the moment now. Shams trailing. There's a call. So the disc in the hands of Chappell, but it's got plenty of room and a wide open Lockridge in front of him. Looks it off to go back to the reset. Cut off by Ing. Besser gets free.
Very dicey flick that worked out there with Besser coming across.
Speaking of dicey flicks, that one hangs in the air, but Shams can't get there. Around break, double bid. Besser just a few yards away and takes another timeout.
Wow. Shams not quite able to close out the angle on that backhand, but it looked like they might get the turn anyways. Double bid. Incredible concentration for Besser to hang on to the disc there.
And this pivotal timeout is presented by Disc Store. We're going to take a brief break as the teams collect themselves for a word from our sponsors. back to see if Colorado can finish it off. Just about 3 yards away from a trip to the semifinals. The disc in the hands of Besser.
Big moment for the freshman here. Send his team to the semifinals.
19-year-old out of Boulder with the disc in his hands. A wide open throw and unable to catch it. They caught the defense just napping. Try to rush the throw and bounces out of the hands of AG.
And I think that bid from Hannah just changed the eye line of AG enough to give him the drop.
Pittsburgh going to make sure there's no short field here. Warren punts it away, and Colorado's got the disc again. And possession returned. Pressure from Ing.
Back and forth, back and forth. Pittsburgh going to need some calm now on their offense. They did a poor job of setting up an offensive approach after the last turnover, but they have a little bit more breathing room now.
And possession not quite gone. Shams arguing his case to Besser.
Observer ruling is foul.
All right, Shams will get the disc back here on the sideline. Just squeezes it in up the line to Warren.
So now it's Pittsburgh who's just a couple yards away from the end zone. Ing with the disc around for Hoffenkamp. Lots of really short cuts from Pittsburgh, and a bid from AG comes up short. Goldstein gets the score. His kick spike hits a Colorado player. Colorado not happy with that. Goldstein profusely apologizing, but tensions flaring and a blue card issue.
Luckily for Pittsburgh, that won't have any field position impact because it is not their third. And now Colorado's offense knows what they have to do. One hold to go to semifinals. This is the kind of thing you prepare for in practice, the scenario you set up. O-line versus D-line, you have a hold to win the game. Pitt's defense is a similar situation. We need 2 breaks. 2 breaks will win us.
Who do you think the pressure is on right now? The offense, who has just seen their team get scored on, who could potentially see the lead slip away, or the defense who's in a 2-goal, who needs 2 goals to try and take this?
I think the pressure is more on Pitt's defense at this point. They can lose the game on this point. Colorado cannot. That does relieve a little bit of pressure.
Larson out with Atkins, Tatum, Brunker, Feiner. Also joined by Tabor and Besser, the freshman getting a lot of run. And Pitt sprints down on the pull, stops the first throw, so Tabor stuck on the sideline. Calmly gets the disc away into the middle of the field with Feiner. Brunker with lots of room underneath. Atkins and Ing locked up downfield.
Great defense from Pittsburgh.
Brunker's crossfield throw beyond the reach of Besser, intercepted by McNamara.
Pittsburgh here trying to send it to double game point. Quick update, Dartmouth has won on double game point against Western Washington. Jack Verjou with the upwind break, and they seal the game for Dartmouth, dodging the big upset. Pitt hoping to get to their own double game point by punching in a break here.
Trey around under pressure. The wind keeps it aloft just long enough for Michael Ing to slide underneath. Now he's got the disc. Ing around to McNamara. Looks off the continue. Now Hoffenkamp against the roll coverage. High throw. Ing tries to grab it, and he can't quite contain that. I mean, that is a hot disc to handle for Ing.
Especially in such a short space. Ing has no chance to get a read on it. It's just zipping in over his head. But it's these margins that decide seasons.
And Brunker sends it, looking to send his team to semifinals. Tatum runs it out. Colorado is going to the semifinals.
And just like that, Pitt goes from the doorstep to eliminated. Colorado with one of the most topsy-turvy wins we've seen in quite some time. Defense scoring more points than offense, but they all count the same, and the O-line getting the hold it needs to send Mama Bird back to the semifinals for the first time since they won a title in 2014.
That hold actually gave the offense, the O-line, the lead over the Colorado defense, 8-7. So they win the game in more ways than one. But obviously, for Mama Bird, the spot in the semifinals, the coveted prize, and a team that I think many overlooked despite their 5 seed, despite winning the South Central region. Many people overlooked this team, and here they are knocking off Pittsburgh to reach the semifinals. 15-13, your final score here. Colorado over Pittsburgh. They will meet the winner of Ohio State and Brown.
Mama Bird just did enough in the little moments of the game. We've seen a lot of these highlights that they just had more bodies swarming to the disc. They made more big plays. Of course, the Callahan, the first throw Callahan, a big moment. And now Mama Bird finds themselves in the semifinal.
That's going to do it for the Ultiworld broadcast. We appreciate you joining us this season. We will see you for the club season.